Hello and welcome to How to Crochet 101. My name is Emwata and I'm so excited to get you started on your crochet journey. Whether you've never picked up a crochet hook before, or maybe you have but you're not so confident in your skills, this course is an excellent way to build up on your crochet skills and start to make things that you love. Crochet is an incredibly versatile and relaxing craft. You can simply have it as a hobby or even turn it into a business. And best of all, it's portable, so you can take your crochet projects anywhere that you go. So in this first video, I'm just going to give you an overview of what you'll be expecting to see in this course and some of the materials that you'll need to get started. So in this course, you can expect to learn the absolute basics, so things like how to hold your crochet hook and your yarn. You'll learn some foundational stitches and techniques. You'll also learn how to read patterns and understand crochet symbols. We'll also learn how to work in rows and rounds, create texture, and even add the finishing touches to your crochet project. And by the end, you should be able to make your own crochet project all on your own. So let me start by letting you know some of the materials that you'll need to get started on this course. The great thing about crochet is that you don't need to get too many fancy things. Of course, they're the basic materials, but there are a lot of things that are optional to get if you're just looking to start out. So the first and most essential thing is obviously your yarn. So for beginners, I recommend starting with a yarn that's not too thin and not too thick. So for those of you that live in Nigeria, probably the most accessible yarn is yeye yarn. The one I'm currently showing you is yeye regular, and it's a bit thin, but you can still use it if you're trying to start out, but you will need to double or even triple the yarn, and I will show you how to do that in later videos. But if you don't want to go through all of that, you can just simply go ahead and get yeye extra, which is a bit thicker, as you can see. I have some leftover yeye extra, which is this pink one, so you can see how thick it is compared to the yeye regular, which is the blue. Of course, if you don't want to go for the local yarn, you can also get milk cotton. Usually it comes in 4-ply, but you can also see 5-ply. Most of the milk cotton yarns that are available out there should be an okay thickness. As you can see, the one I'm showing you right now is a 4-ply milk cotton yarn. So if you're looking to buy your yarn, I will, at the end of the video, show you some places, vendors that you can source your yarn from. That's if you live in Abuja, but I believe some of them also deliver outside of Abuja as well. And I will also try to look for yarn sources from other states as well. The next thing that you're going to need is a crochet hook. So crochet hooks come in different sizes, and the size that you will use will depend on the yarn. So since we're just starting, I would recommend you get a 4mm, so 4mm yarn or something near that size. However, if you believe that you would like to really get into crochet as a hobby in the future and be able to make a wide variety of things, so crochet projects that require very, very thin yarn like lace yarn or something that's very thick like all this bulky yarn, then you might want to get a set of crochet hooks. So some of these hooks come in sets, so you can have like from the smallest size to like the big size all in one set, so you can do that. Or if you're just looking to start and you just want to try out this crochet thing, then I would recommend getting something close to a 4mm hook or a 3.5 or 4.5, something near that size, because that size of hook is generally okay for most yarn, particularly the type of yarn that we'll be using, which is this sort of medium weight yarn. Of course, you also need a pair of scissors to cut your yarn. And lastly, you will need a yarn needle. So this is mainly for you to weave in your ends. You may not need it so early in the course when we're just learning how to do basic stitches, but towards the end when we're learning how to make bigger projects, you will need a needle to be able to properly weave in your ends to make your crochet projects neater. On these yarn needles, you can see the eye of the needle is quite big, which is helpful for crocheting because when you're crocheting, you're using yarn which is thicker than thread. so you need a bigger eye. So that's why I do recommend getting a yarn needle. That being said, you may not need this so early in the course because you're still going to be learning like basic stitches. But towards the end, when we're making bigger projects, you will need a yarn needle to help you weave in your ends to just finish up your crochet projects and make them look neat. Also, for your optional materials, this is truly optional. This is called a stitch marker. So this is used to help you count your stitches when you're crocheting in rows and things like that. So I say this is optional because you can use pretty much any household item that you find in your house, whether it's maybe one of these pins, these bobby pins, or a spare needle you have around, or even you can even cut just a bit of yarn and use that as a way to keep track of your stitches. So it's an optional thing. You can also find stitch markers generally from vendors who sell yarn themselves, or vendors that sell hooks. So it's something that you can find easily, but it's not essential. As we go through the course, I'll be showing you exactly how to use all of these materials, and you have plenty of opportunity to practice them. So don't worry if you feel like you don't have experience or you're not too sure how to use any of these things. We're just going to take things one stitch at a time, and I'll be here to guide you every step of the way. Just before I wrap up the video, here are some places where you can source for yarn and for crochet tools, such as your crochet hooks and your stitch markers and all of those things. These are mainly for people in Abuja because I'm based in Abuja, but I believe one or two of these vendors also deliver outside of Abuja as well. So feel free to check them out even if you don't stay in Abuja. I will also put in some extra recommendations that I've gotten from friends and family that live outside of Abuja who can recommend yarn vendors to you. So yeah, that's it for our introduction. In the next video, we'll jump into how to hold your hook and your yarn. So make sure to have your materials ready, and I'll see you then.